Queek Teeps! Alright, today we are looking at the bank in Act 3. This is an area that was designed around you sneaking your way or talking your way in or having the right items or knowing the right people. I have always wanted to do, since I started Baldur's Gate 3, a series talking about super long fights. Real D&D fights only last 2 or 3 rounds, and they're over pretty quickly. Effects that last a minute don't matter as much, and, the action economy rules all. I wanted to push the limits of Baldur's Gate here and gather as many people together for fights as possible. Right now, it is we are at the Bank Vault, but I also have plans for Wyrm's Rock and any other locations that I can gather more people than was designed for the fight. I've built out these kits to be very defensive and last very long in battle. For example, Shadowheart's using the healing incense, which lasts 10 turns of healing. She's got a whole kit for blessing people when she heals, for getting Blade Ward out to people when she heals, temp HP, other stuff, coating her weapons in poison. It's a whole build around, buffing all of the allies and all the summons for many, many turns. That way they can actually provide a lot more effective use. Yeah. The other thing is that these are the bank guards that were designed to thwart stupid pushing through the front door plans like I have. These guys are wearing plate armor. They have smite abilities like we saw there. Many of them have ranged and ensnaring strikes, and there's even steel watchers outside. I started this fight by laying down haste spores. These are an AoE area that if you walk into, you just gain the haste condition. It's great for your NPCs, but it's much better for these summons. Lots of summons have gimmicks. They might be shocking your enemy, and then the multi-attack does double damage to shocked people. There's Brittle, that's a gimmick with the water elemental. The Intellect Devour of us is able to take 6 off of someone's intelligence score, or even just hit them with, the claws or the whatever. We lost Shovel there, unfortunately, but that's the deal here. These guys are able to crank out massive amounts of damage. I think that was about 50 points of damage, which Shovel was never designed to take, even with aid. But yeah, right now, usually, or at least the way things used to be, back in my first playthrough when I had done this bank fight, you have to really convince people to join in the fight. Sometimes, even if you hit them while you're fighting, I throw acid at that one, they might just heal up without joining the fight. It's very frustrating. Sometimes it takes a lot to make people angry, but I've found consistently the best way to make people angry is stealing. That also applies to Baldur's Gate. If you steal something in front of guards or whatever, they will just join in the fight. It might be temporary hostiles or other stuff, but you can kind of loop them in. I show that a bit in my Wyrm's Rock video. Alright, the secret's out, for me at least. I filmed the Wyrm's Rock video for this first, and that fight was truly the longest fight out there, in the fact that it lasted, I think it was even put down to quad speed like this. It is a very long video. I might still put it out. But I wanted to intro this little series on long fights here with this. I feel like this is a nice, kind of funny internal design, at least, of you're supposed to sneak your way past this, and I'm literally punching my way to the front door. And honestly, this fight, once you come from fighting Wyrm's Rock all by yourself, it is not that bad. But the first time I ran through these guys do have lots of heavy armor, and they're able to dump out huge amounts of damage quick. So it's really important that you take things easy with these guys, that you have a lot of things that will help you hit, or you're able to do more AoEs or target saves, because they're going to be tough customers. I will be putting out different images, hopefully throughout this, of the different kits that I have for all of the characters and things that I'm using there. It's mostly trying to stay defensive and pairing off conditions and different little subsystems with each other. Also, the big thing with huge fights like this is controlling where the enemies are. Battlefield control. This is where those spells are going to be their biggest. Here I'm throwing out the Temur spores. These are the ones that will confuse your enemies and have them just walk in a circle, possibly swing out a random attack at something. Another great one here is the ghoul's ability to devour. Look out for anyone who's prone. All of these different minions have subsystems. The zombie is able to proliferate, the ghoul is able to do the devour, the water elemental is able to do double damage to chilled people, who are also vulnerable to cold, so quadruple damage to chilled people. It's really useful to know these little subsystems and use them, but honestly, not the most important for beginners and other stuff. I also ran through my Dark Urge Tactician run with 3 people, so I try and keep these videos down to the usual 3 people I was using. It changed whoever was necessary for scenes, but it's fine to run this with 3. Divinity had a mode where it was a lone wolf, and you can play essentially by yourself, and the stats were changed up a bit. This doesn't have anything like that, so you kind of have to make your own fun. I'm destroying all these alarms because, design-wise, it's really cool that there's alarms that alert people, but once everyone's involved in this fight, those alarms are just dreadful. They haunt my dreams just listening to those back and forth. I believe I had to eventually turn off my sound effects when I was doing this the first time. Another thing of note, Shadowheart has her healing build on, where it puts out big pulses of healing. You can see that they're getting temporary HP and bless, but healing only works on living creatures. As far as the ghoul goes, or as far as the summoned zombie Connor, he's not going to be getting the same benefits. But the water elementals, Scratch, us, any teammates, anyone who's alive will be getting good benefits from standing close to Shadowheart during this. Another amazing ability is the Black Hole ability. I've mentioned it before, but the ability to gather up enemies and also slow them, lowering their armor class. I try not to do any crazy setting up barrels in advance and a bunch of weird stuff with that, although those are totally viable options. I just like to just wail on people. I like gathering them and maybe putting them in grease so they keep slipping and falling. They've changed some items since the beginning of the game, too. One of them are the boots of reverberation, or whatever they're called, that my Dark Urge is wearing. Now it is any time he inflicts a condition on someone, so chilled, or prone, or Temur spores, then he is able to add this reverberation to them. Then with enough stacks of that, they might fall prone, or they'll be taking thunder damage. His spell attack rolls are also putting out reverberation stacks. I try to get the Absorb Intellect off on the Steel Watch so I can get a free kill without having to do all the health damage. But no. Steel Watches are tough because they are resistant to Psychic, which lots and lots of things can provide bonuses to Psychic. Right now, Lysel is designed as a human killer more than a Steel Watch taker down. But either way, it still works out with all these guys. They are able to just crank out damage, separate factions. I try and put as many melee people close to ranged people as possible. If you are within melee of a ranged combatant, they'll have disadvantage on their attacks, or they'll need to run away to get that disadvantage removed, and that'll provoke opportunity attacks. The Ghoul also has a very low chance, a DC 5 Constitution save, when most things have positive Constitutions. But it has a chance to paralyze people. Paralyzed people can't act, and they take double damage, or they take automatic crits. It's a 100% chance to hit them with things, and it's automatically a crit. It's fantastic, and so rarely does it proc, but things like Reverberation is another thing that the number of stacks of that will lower your con save. So if someone has 4 stacks of Reverberation, then they might, roll a 6 on their DC 5 con save, but then it's reduced to 2 and fail. So all these little things and little systems will start to matter, even if you don't, plan specifically number-wise around each one. It's good to have them in mind. I am playing this on quad speed because I want people to watch this video, so I want to make it a reasonable length. Plus a lot of the details of the fighting, like we're seeing here. Guards shooting arrows, me shooting lasers. It's not too complicated. If anyone wants the full versions of these, just send the video to all your friends and like it a lot, or leave a comment. And then I'll know that people like it and I'll put out the full video. As it stands, the Wyrm's Rock video has been proving very difficult to even just convert and upload, let alone whether people will come for it. But where else would you guys be thinking too? I was thinking maybe the House of Hope would be a good place to gather all the enemies in one big fight, or fight city. Essentially, I had done that in my first playthrough where I went around. I didn't like the Steel Watch very much, and I didn't like the idea of disabling them either, like by taking out the main facility or whatever. I loved the idea of beating up every single Steel Watcher, and that was that. Just break them all. It's a thing that they don't often try in most heroic tales, but what if you just break them all? The issue was there was a lot of, good guards and stuff that are just misdirected here, so I was like, well, I don't want to kill and feel super bad about that, so I non-lethaled all the guards, worked my way to get them out of the explosions of Steel Watchers, took down every Steel Watcher in the city, and then I realized that I was missing a party member. Realized that Shadowheart had disappeared from my game permanently. Couldn't find her in any of my old saves. She had just been gone for a while. So, Fight City universe just didn't exist. I had to restart it from there. And then, 2 weeks later, I saw a patch where it was like, Shadowheart no longer disappears for people. So, that's just Baldur's Gate. Point being is that if you have any other suggestions for big fight areas, let me know. This is, right now, just taking these guards down systematically. This was a easier run of this because I was able to separate a lot of the guards. Right now they're dealing with individual people or having to get away from things. They're getting caught in CCs a lot, like falling prone or even getting paralyzed from the ghoul. It's been working out very well with this fight, but doesn't always go this well. Not every fight will go this well, though, so if you're on honor mode, I don't necessarily suggest doing what I've done here. But at this point, the fight's mostly cleanup. They should have shown up with more people. Also, if you guys want to see any other wrinkles to this, maybe fully solo, or maybe a non-lethal run, because as of now, my Dark Urge, he does not like to go non-lethal. That's just the name of the game now. He's got urges. I will do different run-throughs of different things if people are interested in it, if they want to see different fights. I know, the Goblin Camp was one of my favorite big, long fights super early in the game. Gathering all the folks for those and doing that all at once. But yeah, let me know. Besides that, this has been the Queek Teeps, Long Edition, Sans Teeps. Although there have been definitely some Teeps. Here's one, flying. They don't quite have that engine down yet, I think. So you can just go fly huge distances. It's usually based on the X coordinate of your move. But besides that, some more Queek Teeps. Bye! Have fun! See you later!